Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ReCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora. Another week, another time to discuss these pop culture streets. How you feeling? How you living?
Lift every voice and sing.
Which version is it? Are we just listening to Homecoming? What's happening?
Well, I mean, it could be Homecoming. I grew up in Detroit in a very black school, very black charter school, and we sang it every day.
So
harmonies of liberties.
This is just being pulled out for this special day in which we're recording, which is Juneteenth, baby.
Yes, ma'am.
So since you're black, I'm black, we black. How did you celebrate the day and the occasion?
So Juneteenth has become the new MLK Day for me, in the fact that I was at work today and I said, so I'm not doing this again. I worked one MLK Day in my professional life, and I was like, never again. Never again. So that was me today. Shout out to where I work. They very much had a situation where we had African-American musicians come in and they played during lunch. And so they did all the songs part of our African-American canon. So there's a little bit of Anita Baker, obviously Stevie Wonder, old school Michael Jackson. And then they were playing Before I Let Go. And I was like, can we do a dance? But we didn't because, corporate. And then we didn't want to make the white people nervous.
I would have loved to see y'all black asses get out there and start line dancing. Are you kidding me?
Wait, but every black person I talked to was like, you feel it, right? You feel it. Like, it's just like, I need to move to this song. And there was some red velvet cupcakes that were delicious by a black-owned bakery. We raffled off black-owned wine and liquor. So just to get the name out. And we had these bracelets that we had. So we had like the beads that were red, black, and green. And then there were letters. So I spelled out, I was like, so do I do black? Do I do freedom? Like what word am I spelling out? So I chose love. And I appreciated the effort that my company put forth on this day, but this will probably be my last Juneteenth working.
Yeah, because I was going to say I would have gone up to a manager and be like, you know what would be better than this next year? If my black ass had to dance.
You know that, shout out to my girl, what's her name? Shop as if or something like that on Instagram. She had a list of things you need to do on Juneteenth. She was just like the bare minimum or nothing working at all.
Yep. If you working, do the bare minimum. Yeah, man. I mean, I am a proponent of, I know there was a conversation that some people had when Juneteenth was turned into a national holiday about should it become one because then white people get to celebrate too and just all this stuff. I am a proponent for it being a federal holiday to gain more awareness every year of the meaning of Juneteenth. And then also, because I do want the day off, okay? And so I had my day off and I used it to go see Bad Boys 4, which we'll be talking about, and support that film and to do things I need to do for myself, such as packing. Because, guys, I'm in the middle of a move and I am trying to find the joy in it because otherwise it can get very stressful and overwhelming. So
very much so.
And now I'm talking to you. So I get to end my day on a highlight for Juneteenth.
What I will say about Juneteenth that I thought was interesting being in the office today, this gentleman walking up to the red velvet cupcakes. He's like, the stock market is closed today. And I'm like, it's fascinating what gets people's attention. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If the stock market wasn't closed today, he probably would not have known something was going on or significantly. And it just fascinating. That's all I say to that. What that young lady say, like, they don't care about doing the right thing. Is it going to affect the pockets, the money, the coin?
Yep, absolutely. Well, for all of you guys listening, happy Juneteenth. I know we release on Thursday, the day after, but happy Juneteenth. I hope you had a great day, great time spent, whether you had to work, didn't have to work, were with your family, somebody grilled out, which, I need some grilled out occasions in my life more this summer. Hit that space table, whatever y'all did today. Be black and flourish. Okay. That's all. That's all I got for y'all. All right. Let's move into our headlines and hot topics for the day. So we are going to start off with this Complex's funniest people on the internet list. I promise that these lists are coming more the more that people get outraged, right? Because we're in an outraged society and culture. So the more people get upset about these 100 best artists, 100 best albums, all this, people are going to continue to drop these lists just to spark debate.
I truly think they troll us to gain attention. Easily.
Freaking and put people in their feelings, because who else is going to help you promote your funniest people on the internet list than the funniest people on the internet, right? So you had Kev on stage talking about the fact that he didn't make it on this list, right? And that's okay, as long as he's on God's list. He's he's fine with whatever. And you also
he's the one that brought this list to my attention, frankly.
I had heard about it first because Desi Banks seemingly was upset that he was number 8. And this is out of a list of 20. Let me preface my statement a little bit by saying, if you guys are not familiar, Complex released this list of allegedly the 20 funniest people on the internet right now, excluding the big time stand-up comedians, right? So no Kevin Hart, no Dave Chappelle, etc. And it's really about people who have gained their footing and traction through these viral moments that they've had online. Let me read out real quick what they say that their criteria was for this list of 20. So they said that they factored in the reach and popularity of the content, social media's reaction, their engagement rate on their own platforms, and the aggregation of their content. They said this is strictly for those who flourish off online content, but they do make exceptions for, like, you know, certain podcasters. They specifically named Theo Vaughn because they say his content is consistently going viral as well. They also factored in recent performance, longevity, and resume. So, Delora, of this list of 20, and I'm not going to name out everybody, guys, you can go check it out online. There were multiple that I've never heard of. And then there were some faces that were like, oh yeah, of course, I know who you are. And Drewski was number 1 on this entire list. Were there any snubs in your opinion, or any surprises for this list of 20 funniest people on these internets?
Looking at this list, I probably know less than half. Easy. I don't know who some of these young men are, frankly. Okay. Drewski being number 1 makes a lot of sense to me. He is truly hilarious. And he has absolutely been able to leverage his popularity, because we've talked about him in the movie he did with Chloe Bailey.
Praise this.
Praise this. Thank you. And he's literally everywhere. I really enjoy Funny Marco. Like, his interviews are truly hilarious. And the fact that he keeps a straight face, brilliant. I also appreciate, or have a newfound respect for, what is his name? But we friends though.
Oh,
Kai Sinet.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's just come to my attention because of he was at Northwest's birthday party. Oh, Tyler was on with him and there was this whole back and forth. He's just come to my attention, but apparently he's super popular.
Absolutely. I became familiar with him when Offset went on and did like a slumber party situation when promoting his album, I believe last year. That's the first time he came to my like awareness. And then since then, I've seen him with Nicki Minaj and Kevin Hart. And Kevin Hart's been on multiple times. Hilarious. But Ashley, I have to tell you, a lot of these people, I'm just like, who this though? Like the internet is broad, right?
Correct.
It's wide.
Correct.
It's expansive, and it's okay that I don't know everyone on this list. And who's missing? Kev on stage. Absolutely. And again, he's the one that brought this to my attention. I would not have known anything about this list if it wasn't for Kev. I love Kev. I call him my cousin, my internet cousin, because again, just reminiscing about our conversation we just had about Dance for the Devil and church and all that. He speaks to that part of my soul and I respect it and I love it. So yeah. How about you?
I also felt like Pretty V was missing on this list. They did include 2 women, neither that I'm familiar with. I'm sure they are hilarious in their own right. Yeah. But I'm like, Pretty V has been doing her thing for a minute, and she has also parlayed her internet comedy into working on Wildin' Out, into film, into these things. And I was really surprised. Like Pretty V, I remember when I first discovered her, I went down a rabbit hole of watching her videos. She's had people like Desi Banks that she's done skits with and things like that. Like she was the glaring hole for me in terms of like, especially if there are going to be any women who are included in this list, which again, there's only 2 out of 20. This is very male dominated, very Black male dominated, which isn't surprising with Complex, but you know, I definitely felt like that was a miss for them on that. To your point, Kev on stage, I am surprised because for me, in my consumption, this is where I think the algorithm can get tricky. To me, in my consumption, Kev is huge, right? Yes. Like he's best friends with Tabitha. He's best friends in his mind with Will Smith. At least he's met him and it's cool. You know, like Kev is huge to me. So, but that's maybe the algorithm speaking more to me than it's speaking to the whole of the internet. But I would agree. And then what's his co-host name that they do the podcast together? Them Together?
That chick Angel. Yes, I love their podcast. Here's the thing.
When who did she just mimic that was like spot on hilarious? Oh, Stephen A. Smith. Did you see when she mimicked? That was so funny.
I love her. She's the margarita lady for people who may not know, but she's so much bigger than that because I've been following her for years. And honestly, he introduced me to her because she's a internet creator, YouTube content creator.
It was her videos with her husband that I first started seeing even before Marcus. The pod with Kev. Yep. And I was like, oh, I remember her because I'll be seeing these videos with her and her husband.
Yep. So yeah, they're hilarious. And honestly, whenever I listen to their podcast, I need to turn down the volume because they be so loud, but hilarious. But you know how we do.
Yeah. Well, I will say again, I feel like these lists are obviously always very subjective and they are created to get the people talking. So good job, Complex. You've clearly gotten these internet personalities talking. Desi Banks is going to go back to the drawing board to figure out how he can move up for the next one. And we'll see who continues to like churn out some of the funniest content that we get a chance to consume. Like if I haven't said it before, this internet comedy is the main thing that I go onto social media for. Like really in my like Instagram consumption, Pinterest is a whole nother subject. We've talked about Pinterest. Pinterest is a whole nother thing. But in my general like Instagram consumption, I am on there to find the funny. So I appreciate these folks because that's how you keep me. That's how the algorithm keeps me. Show me the funny.
Love it.
All right, Delora, let's move on to Kate Middleton. You had been concerned because we still had not seen that lady, and you were not alone because plenty of people said everything is doctored. We don't know if that video of her was really her or it was AI. Where was William? Where is William? What's happening? She has stepped out for the first time in public since December.
That's a long time for a public figure.
Yeah, stepped out in style, according to ABC News, at Trooping the Color. Wore a white dress by one of her go-to designers, Jenny Packham. In an update on, how she's feeling, how she's doing. She said, I'm making progress, but as anyone going through chemotherapy will know, there are good days and bad days. On those bad days, you feel weak, tired, and you have to give into your body resting. But on the good days, when you feel stronger, you want to make the most of feeling well. She said her treatment will continue for a few more months. And on the days I feel well enough, it is a joy to engage with school life, spend personal time on the things that give me energy and positivity, as well as starting to do a little work from home. So it seems like she's in good spirits. She looked really, really good.
Yeah, she looked great. She also had a level of enthusiasm that we haven't seen from her in a while. Let's keep that clear. And yeah, I was happy to see her because low key, I was concerned. She has not been seen since December for a working quote unquote royal. That'll never happen. And honestly, this is what Meg and Harry was asking for, to regroup, and they didn't give them that grace. And I really feel like if it wasn't for, Harry and Meghan taking the steps they took, I don't know if Kate would have been able to have this level of time recoup and deal with her ailment. But the internet is crazy, right? And people were like, we need to know how she's doing because we don't know if she's alive or not. And I started getting concerned because, I don't trust the House of Windsor when it comes to how they treat their women after Diana and Meghan, frankly. And so it's like, it was looking really bad because Kate was also dealing with her family drama. Her parents apparently have filed for bankruptcy. They've been ousted in society. Like they weren't, like, for example, there was a high profile wedding that happened recently that none of the Middletons were there. Obviously, Kate wasn't there. And so for her to come out with this big smile and, radiant and everything like that, I think this is definitely positive and has definitely quashed a lot of noise. There is a corner of this internet that believes she might have gotten cosmetic surgery and she was laying low in recovery. And I'm like, y'all, I hope that's not the case. This lady said that she's dealing with cancer, which is something that no one should ever lie about, personally.
Because what was the last Tyler Perry film we just did with Kelly Rowland where the mama lied? What was that? We just recapped it.
We sure did. What was the name of that freaking movie?
It was like after her name.
Yes. Mia Culpa.
Yeah, let's not have Kate pulling a white mama for Mia Culpa moment for sure. That would be absurd, right? Absurd. But for a cancer patient, sis, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, money matters when it comes to health things and health concerns because I'm assuming she has phenomenal health care and she's being well taken care of. So I'm glad to see that she's doing well. I'm glad to see that it looks like she's in good spirits. I wonder how Charles is doing since he's also battling cancer. Again, so weird to have two royals battling at the same time.
Right. That is so true. And Kate being relatively young, right? And that's been a conversation we've been having societally anyway.
Well, God bless. Mm-hmm. Keeps the internet trolls at bay for a little bit longer, at least.
Yep.
Speaking of internet trolls and paparazzi to a certain extent, the Celtics have won the ship. Okay? They beat the Mavericks, Game 5, shut it down. They have now become the most winningest team championship-wise, I believe, surpassing. They were tied with the Lakers and they've now one-upped them. So yay, congratulations. As a part of the Celtics roster, Mr. Jason Tatum, who had been rumored to be dating the fabulous, the beautiful, the songstress, Ella Mai. And suddenly on my timeline pops up this video of Ella in a Boston Celtics Jason Tatum jersey with a belly, with a baby bump. They have not made any announcement that they are even together, let alone expecting a baby. Happy for them. Love it for them. Somebody said that baby about to be high yellow. But
yes.
Delora,
yes,
is this right? Is this type of thing right that we would, as again, people I'm sure who were just there in the moment are like, hey, look what I've discovered. TMZing papping her to announce her pregnancy before she is even ready, if she ever would be ready and wanting to announce that she had been pregnant, because she's been MIA apparently.
Very much so. She knew what she was doing, and if she still decides not to formally say something, that is definitely her prerogative. I feel like better that than being trolled like Hallie did us during her pregnancy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Gaslighting us. But again, it is within her prerogative to speak upon it. We've had this conversation before. A woman is not pregnant until she acknowledges she's pregnant, as far as I'm concerned.
She belly, just was holding a basketball under there. It is
you
the
never
NBA.
know. You just don't know. And I refuse to be that person to be like, congratulations, right? And be completely wrong.
It's hard to deny at this point. But to your point, first of all, I'm not going to hop on her anything and say congratulations. I don't even have that level of fandom. Love her, but I don't have that level of fandom. Right. But for sure, I felt bad when I saw it because I was like, wait, she pregnant? What are we saying? Like, she has not, again, never even confirmed her and Jason were really together. They've been spotted at events together, things like that, but it was never like this is my man, we are intimate snaps, right? But apparently there had been conversation a little while back of somebody spotting them at a baby shower. And so there had been conversation out there already that this was going on, but obviously this confirmed it for many of her fans and people like that. Somebody had posted like, are you pregnant? Is that why you're not around? And obviously it's most likely true. But again, I felt kind of bad. Like, I saw it and I was like, I feel like I shouldn't be seeing this. So now I kind of just like kept scrolling because yeah, I mean, it seems like they just want to be private. So let them live their lives privately. She wasn't going to miss her man's big moment. She wasn't not going to come out for the ship.
Exactly. Girl, can I honestly say that I'm like, oh, the NBA national championship came and gone. I've been so caught up in the WNBA drama that I completely forgot NBA. I truly did. I've been that busy.
Look at the stage of sports that we're entering, where the WNBA drama could transcend the NBA finals.
You know what it was? Honestly, I didn't realize how soon after that draft they put those girls to work. Okay. Yeah. They are on the court, laced up, ready to go.
And I have every intention of going to a Chicago game yet this year. So Angel, I'm coming to you.
Let me know. I want to go. I want to see Angel.
Keep you posted. All right. Well, we'll wait and see if these two want to share any news with us.
We'll see a baby in the stands next
in the future. Good for y'all either way. All right, let's move on to our final hot topic of today. Justin freaking Timberlake. Justin, this year has not been a great year for him.
It's called karma.
My guy popped up on our social media feeds a couple of days ago because he got arrested on a DWI charge in the Hamptons, of all places, darling.
Very rich. Very
He
wealthy.
told the police he had one martini but refused a breathalyzer. So they took him into custody in the Sag Harbor community of the Hamptons, again, for allegedly driving while intoxicated. He was arraigned and released without having to post bail about 9 hours after his arrest. He's pleaded not guilty and was ordered to appear in court on July 26th. His attorney said, "I look forward to vigorously defending Mr. Timberlake on these allegations. I will have a lot to say at the appropriate time, but I'm currently awaiting full discovery from the district attorney's office." He was behind the wheel of a BMW, was stopped a little after 12:15 because he drove through a stop sign and failed to stay on the right side of the road. When the police talked to him, they said it was clear he was not in any shape to drive. He had glassy, bloodshot eyes. He had a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage emanating from his breath, unable to divide attention, slowed speech, unsteady of foot, performed poorly on all standardized field sobriety tests. I was like, oh, y'all went it full in depth with
They sure
this
did.
write up on this. This is NBC News, guys, by the way. But you know what
Yep.
took me out was that photo of him snapped in handcuffs. I was like, who and how did y'all find the perfect moment to snap
Truly.
him coming out that
Doing the
door?
perp walk. Right. It's a mugshot for me, and everyone saying he looks like he's about to cry a river.
He looked like he was in on the joke to me when I saw it. Like, I was like, he looked like he about to start cracking up laughing. And that's how you
I
know
don't
he's
it was
drunk.
a level of distress. It was kind of like his eyes been weird lately anyway, especially with him.
He looks tired.
Yes, he looks tired, Ashley. Like, it's a combination of like you could tell he's trying to utilize his youthful charm every once in a while, but it's like, but you're a 40-year-old man, and these same tricks, you're not getting away with murder like you used to, frankly. It's all catching up.
Yeah, and I think public perception has just shifted. You know, he
So
was
much so.
beloved at one point in time by
Girl.
all of us.
All of us, I am included in that. I saw another podcast online talking about how millennials aren't showing up for J-Lo and Justin. And
That's
I'm like,
not my responsibility.
that is not my responsibility.
Like, I have no issues with J-Lo. I've said that on the pod. I have no
You
issues with J-Lo. But it is not, these are not my battles. I say my piece in the moment and I move on with my life. These people don't even know who I am. Why would, that's not my battle.
But Ashley, I saw this and it just took me out. So it says, we're also told the cop who pulled Timberlake over was so young that he didn't even know who the 10-time Grammy winner was.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, he didn't recognize him or his name, our insider says. The second source adds, Justin said under his breath, "This is going to ruin the tour." The cop replied, quote, "What tour?" Justin said, quote, "The world tour." Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I feel like this is the era and stage of life he's now in. Like, yes, when I saw it, I was not surprised. I was like, yo,
he's a legacy act now.
He's a legacy act. Think about it. He had disappeared from music for so long too that, like, unless you catch him in his acting bag, Justin is not,
aren't that memorable either.
He's not this superstar that he once was in terms of like the stratosphere of people paying attention. And there's so much more that people are divided to pay attention to now than when we were growing up. When we were growing up, we had our select superstar celebrities and acting and music and sports and everything. Now you have the internet. Your neighbor could be bigger to you than Justin Timberlake.
This is fascinating.
It's a new era. And as I'm messing all up my hair, I'm like, I'm speaking with my hair today.
Speaking of being in a new era, I was, at work today and I talked to an intern, African-American young lady, and she'll be graduating soon. And she was like, "Oh, I'd love to connect with you later." And I was like, "Yeah, put something on my schedule." You know how you do that game. And she sent me a meeting notice and she put, quote, "Miss Delora."
I'm the miss now in this situation.
And so I told my husband, I was like, hey, so am I old enough to be her mom? And he was like, yeah, if you were a teenage. Not a deal, but it's possible. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's the circle of life, as they
Oh
say.
my gosh.
It's the circle of life. I'm not ready.
I am so used, especially in my career, I am so used to being the youngest person in the room.
Yep.
And now it's becoming very middle ground at this rate. But still, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Miss? Do I look like a miss?
Yeah. It's what's the one saying, if you live long enough, you live to see yourself become a villain. If you live long enough, you live to see yourself become the old head, the oracle, the miss, the ma'am.
Oh my God.
All the things, right? Like the alternative is to just not be here. So we just gotta flow with life.
I need more power to be a miss at this rate. I'm like, I need more dollars.
If I'm the CEO, call me miss. Okay, that's when you can call me miss. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Got it. I'm the captain of this ship. That's when you can call me miss.
Exactly. Then I'll feel comfortable with it. Thank you very much.
That's hilarious.
I need some more O's at the end of this paycheck.
Well, I mean, Justin has settled into family life, dad of two, wife of Jessica Biel, all the things. But like I said, it's been a rough year for him. Maybe rough couple years. He had the whole thing. What was that last year with the co-star potential affair situation? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
Several years ago. Yeah. And that movie came and went.
I never watched it, but I do like that actress because she was in Raising Dion.
She was also in Shadowhunters, I believe. That's a deep cut. I love a good supernatural movie.
We both do.
And I remember the werewolves.
I remember when that scandal came out too, I was thinking like, Justin, this is because you deny who you truly are. This is because you got that John B. and Robin Thicke in you, but you chose to deny yourself.
To be a man in the woods.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I didn't see in this article where they talk about what he may face. I'm assuming maybe like a felony charge or something if they charge him with that.
Did. I mean, I want to say trigger warning to people who have suffered from drunk drivers and things along those lines. So this is a very serious offense. So
yeah,
I don't feel sorry for him. Yes, he's had a heart.
Khloe Kardashian went to jail for a DWI, right?
I feel like that was almost 15 years ago. I feel like it's different now. But in any case, he was in a nice jail, so he was okay. I say that because Tiffany Haddish was talking to Jimmy Kimmel, and she got in trouble with DWI, and she said that she actually wasn't drunk, that she was tired, and that she was feeding the homeless earlier that day, and she did have something to drink, but she was so tired from the day that her Tesla pulled over and she took a nap. And that's when the cops came and they said that she, got arrested. So I'm interested to see if she's able to make some type of rehab of her career. She's still going strong. And we'll talk about the last place we saw her very soon. But Indeed. I don't think Justin, I don't feel sorry for him at this rate. He's been riding this wave for a very long time. And I feel like people like him have probably never dealt with consequences to their actions. Consequences and repercussions up in this B. You know where that's from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And so I say all that to say Janet is finally getting some roses. And I feel like the level of support that she deserves isn't even it's nowhere near as high as it needs to be. She gets it from our community. She gets it when it comes to like a Victoria Monet paying homage to her career, and all the lifetime achievements awards that we've given her. But it should be so much more. But because of that scandal and the lack of accountability or his inability to speak up for her, really was a shame, because it's not like she ripped off her own pasty.
Right. I still can't believe how out of proportion that was blown. When I look back on it, that was insane.
Truly. And then let's not even talk about Britney.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Let's move on to, we're going to do a microdose today because we have both now seen Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die. I had such a mind blank on that for a second. Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die. I went and saw it today. Great way to have spent Juneteenth supporting. And
I saw it on Father's Day weekend with my father and my mom and my sister. We had a blast.
Let's get into it. What were your thoughts about how you rank this film against the other three?
When I tell you I freaking love this movie so freaking much, it was so good, Ashley. It was so good because I honestly felt like this movie was the perfect summer action movie. It was almost like a roller coaster ride where you had some ups and some downs, in terms of like there was levels of serious topics covered, like getting older and taking care of yourself and your health. But Martin has not been this funny for me in a long time, and the audience, it was such a perfect audience experience, Ashley. Like,
so the audience elevated it. Yeah,
it was an experience. We were laughing, we were cheering. Shout out to Marcus' son-in-law. Okay, like, and can we talk about how attractive everybody was in this movie? Shout out to Eric Dane, Will Smith. Like, it was just so good.
It's the son for me.
The son. So we were having a debate, Ashley, on whether or not he could be a spicy Will Smith or not. And I say, yes, I can see it. But my sister said she didn't see it. She just thought he was good looking.
He's definitely good looking. I don't know about the whole spicy Will Smith, but he definitely is good looking. So he was my eye candy in the film for sure. I mean, it's from film 3. I remember seeing, I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, but I love how they brought him back. And we actually talked about this. I did not enjoy the third movie that much.
No,
it was kind of forgettable, frankly. I was like, oh yeah, he did have a son. How about that? It wasn't as explosive either. I think the most explosive out of the series was definitely the second one. But I even enjoyed the way they took risk and chances on how they directed. If you saw that behind the scenes of Will Smith with the camera and the gun, it felt like you were in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought that was really, really cool. I loved it.
So again, how does this rank for you against the other ones?
I don't know, because I love the first one, obviously sets the foundation. The second one was so much fun. It was so good and so much fun. The third one is forgettable. So honestly, it's probably tied with the second one, and then it's the first, and then the third being the last.
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, it's 1, 2, 4, and 3, because I went and saw it today. I enjoyed it, but I have to say at the beginning, I was like, it feels like we're not taking this serious. Like it almost felt like a spoof of the series at first. And I was like, okay, let me see how they're really going to like get their hooks into this and not be quite so like gimmicky. So, and I was also like, what is the point of this one? Because I don't think I went into it really knowing the storyline at all of like, why did we make a fourth movie? No. What is this going to be about?
I went in cold, which I'm glad I did.
And it took me forever to even watch 3, as I mentioned previously. So the fact that I actually went and saw this in theaters was off of the word of mouth. I was excited. I wanted to check it out, what have you. I ended up enjoying the story in totality. I ended up enjoying kind of what they did with the end, the redemption arc for the son, things like that. But for me, it still wasn't like, oh, I had to rush and see this in theaters. Like, I enjoyed it, but I could have definitely waited until I saw it at my house. Again, maybe had I had a more impactful theater experience, because I think there was, I don't know, it was a handful of people in the theater when I went and saw it midday today, right?
It was sold out when we went.
Yeah, that could have, just like when I went and saw Barbie, that's what made my experience with Barbie so much fun, because the audience was so into the picture. And that's why you like to go to the movies and see things live with other people. So for me, yes, I had my chuckles, I had my laughs. Particularly, you talk about Tiffany Haddish. I enjoyed her cameo in this for sure. Like, I laughed out loud at some of the things she was saying in this scenario. And there were so many like pop-up cameos randomly,
including internet comedians. The one gentleman who doesn't say anything, the
just
African,
makes the faces. Yep.
He showed up. And to me, that felt like Will Smith's fingerprints. Because like, if you follow Will Smith's Instagram account, even before the slap, he was very into silly things or just mind-bending things. And so when, spoiler alert, when Martin has his heart attack and he's like falling into water, I looked at my sister, I was like, this is very much something Will Smith would probably have his hand in. I'm like, it's like you're underwater, and let's visually represent that in this film.
Yeah, I loved them still having him so actively involved, because I was shocked when they killed him in the 3rd film, the captain. I was shocked.
Yes.
So I'm glad that he was still incorporated. Missed me with the daughter and granddaughter storylines. If anything, the daughter was getting on my nerves. I was like,
last and final.
Calm down. You need to calm down, Mel.
It was like she was ready to let her Karen flag fly.
Yeah. But I have to say, I felt like the wives were underutilized in this. I don't know. They even
switched it up.
They had to switch it up in terms of the cast for Marcus / Martin's wife. But how y'all just gonna have her just sitting there always looking at him with this loving little smile and smirk on her face? Like, I just felt they felt very underutilized. And I was thinking about, like, they probably always are, though. Like, I don't remember Teresa really ever being some prominent part of the story.
No,
in that way. So and I mean, it is what it is.
Like Will's character's wife was acting a little bit too brand new, but you know, she did just marry him. She probably didn't expect to be in a hostage situation. But
I was shocked that he got married. I was shocked.
Really?
I said,
Mike showing his growth, especially after this 3rd movie of like, almost dying. Was sowing his oats and it caught up to him.
Yeah, and he almost died. You know, that'll shake you up.
Let me settle down.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, because again, I didn't know. I was like, oh, Mike Lowry's getting married? Okay.
Yeah. And my sister and I were like, purple is his color. Like, whoever dresses him as Mike Lowry, especially when he wears those deep blues and purples, it's like chef's kiss. I wish Will's dressed like this in real life.
He was stepping out in his little suits. I saw him doing a whole bunch of selfies that he was posting to Instagram there during the press run.
Uncle vibes for sure. Like, check out the fit. He looked great, obviously.
He does.
But it was a good time, and especially the part when Mike was having his panic attack, when you know the big scene and towards the end. And he was having an emotional moment, and then when Martin just smacks him, the way the theater erupted was just hilarious. I think it was such a good time, and it's funny that you say that now. We had a packed theater, and that probably played a role. Like, we were in it, we were cheering for Marcus's son-in-law. Like, he killed 15 people. You better let that man grill. You better let him.
Seriously. And I tell you, I saw something that spoiled it for me a little bit prior. I saw a meme that said like, oh, Reggie's the man of the house now. And it was the photo of him from the barbecue. And so when I went into it watching, I was like, okay, hopefully they're just saying like, oh, Reggie, you know, he's grown up and he's this and that. And then I saw that scene, I was like, damn it, y'all ruined this for me. Cause now I know they're gonna let him get on that grill. You know
Exactly.
But it's all good. I thought I love that Reggie has still been around. I love the callback to some of the previous people, like bringing John Sally back, things like that. So
yes, I love that. It's so funny. I don't know who I was talking to, but they were like, "Does John Sally make it back?" And I was like, "Yeah, he did.
he's in it. He's in it. He's there. Fletcher's there." All right. Yeah. Well, that was our roundup and our chat about Bad Boys 4. If you guys have any thoughts that you want to share with us, please do. We look forward to hearing from you. Delora, what are we recapping for the people next week?
Ashley, we are recapping Netflix popular brand new action film, Hitman, starring the charming Glenn Powell.
You talk about somebody who's on a hot streak. He's hot, 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 hot.
Very hot. And, you know, I can see it. And then sometimes I don't.
I don't think I like him in romance situations. I think I like him more in action situations. Like when I saw him in
Maverick.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, when I saw him with Tom, good to go. Seeing him in the one film with Sydney, no.
Girl, I couldn't last 10 minutes of that one. It was so bad. Somebody was like, the script was made by ChatGPT.
Yeah, that was rough.
As a lover of romance novels, it just was not great. Was it you that said it got better?
No.
Oh.
It was not I, because I've seen it twice, and both times I was like, this sucked. So, no.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it, y'all.
Yeah, not that film, guys. Hitman. Remember, Hitman. So come back and join us.
He has a Latina actress.
Jason Momoa's boo. Jason
Momoa's new boo. Yep. People say she looks like a young Lisa Bonet, which I can see just a little bit.
Lisa Bonet is gorgeous.
So, very much so.
Come back and join us for that. We'll be back. Please share this episode with everybody you know. We so appreciate it. We'll be back, as I mentioned, but in the meantime, as always, be blessed.
Bye.